So yeah, happy to be here for a second year in a row, presenting an update on what's going on with Antino here in Suriname. We've had a pretty exciting year, actually a pretty exciting few years here at this point, and kind of get into the details and what things are looking like for this fall. So I guess just before that, certainly some forward-looking statements. Won't belabor this point, but I think there's lots of folks here have seen a few presentations on Guyana and now coming into Suriname, but really the two in the Guyana Shield I think are the up and coming jurisdictions, and whether it's corporates or investors alike, I think this is we're going to be one of the most exciting jurisdictions from a new gold deposit and growing gold deposit standpoint in the next several years. Zooming in on Suriname though, so Guyana to the west of us. We're two major miners operating in country right now. It's a pretty small place, about 650,000 people, but you've got Newmont there with the Marion mine operating for almost 10 years, and then Zijin has been there with Rosebel. It's effectively an institution in country. We're looking at over 20 years of steady state operation. For Antino, we're down in the southeast of the country. We've got a 200 square kilometer land package currently, with exploitation concessions, and it puts us in a great spot for permitting, and all the exploration work that we want to do is there and available to us without additional requirements that way. We're a little different than the usual junior, so 4 drills operating right now that we own ourselves. We own 6 rigs right now, so it gives us some flexibility and some capacity there for increasing things down the road. We came into Antino originally with some initial kind of very high grade historical results, and we're able to really grow and build on those. And over the last 18 months, we've made 5 additional new discoveries, 2 founders, most of which have 100 or 200 plus gram meter products from some of our early exploration work. October last year, B2 Gold came in as a strategic investor. I've recently acquired some more shares in the market, so building that position, and really happy to have them involved in the story. Overall, today I want to focus on the exploration side of things. So as we move into the fall, we're into the dry season in Suriname, and we really are going to be pushing our drills out away from Upper Antino and the main deposit areas, and focusing on some of this earlier exploration targets, and really the goal is to start demonstrating some scale and some growth to some of these very exciting targets. So I'll get into details on each of those as I go through. Quick corporate snapshot first. About 100 million shares outstanding, no warrants out there. Some excellent analyst coverage across the board, most recent of which from National Bank, just came out a couple of weeks ago. And then overall institutional support's very strong in the story. So share price overall, we're had quite a nice recovery here from a pullback earlier this year that I think had a little bit to do with just the change in pace of results around the exploration target stuff. We had some rainy season conditions that we dealt with, and we were able to fortunately focus on the Upper Antino drilling and had a lot of really great success with that. So that said though, we're very excited to be back out properly testing the exploration targets. So quickly just going through that, we really look at Antino as kind of 3 different tiers of target or deposit. So Upper Antino, this area here is really the kind of flagship portion of, and about 70% of the work that we've done at Antino. Lower Antino and Bweze, we've got about 7,500, a little bit more drilling into each of those targets. So they're intermediate, and we're starting to really come to understand those and see a lot of opportunities for scale from them, and we'll be doing some more work this year on them. The rest out here to the east is, I think, really the torque that comes along with the mineralization, everything that we've already put together at the more advanced targets. Where most recent discovery was Maria Geralda here in the center, which I'll get into. 22 meters of almost 12 grams. We've seen some great growth with some auger work recently, building that anomaly on the surface out to 1.3 kilometers, and we're currently working on drilling that target now. And we're going to keep moving out as far and testing some of these further at things. Probo's another one that we've got a drill on. Just started drilling a couple of days ago, and we'll be putting a couple of thousand meters in there, and then continuing to work around to the other targets here this fall, where we've had some some really spectacular success in earlier drilling, including Da Vinci with 36 meters at 2, and Van Gogh with our first hole there was 28 meters of over 7 grams per ton. Quick look at kind of what things look like on the ground. So we're very fortunate to come into a 1.3 kilometer airstrip at our main camp right out of the gate. It meant we could hit the ground running, and it makes logistics, site access, all of that very, very straightforward. Our camp right now, we built that up to a capacity for upwards of 200 people. Right now, at any given time, we've got about 100 people on the ground running all of the drills, the exploration program, and supporting all of that activity. Otherwise, in terms of infrastructure, there's also barge access to the property where everything from 40-ton articulating haul trucks to D8 dozers are present on site, so not really limited insofar as bringing bulky or heavier things to the property, which has been a big help on the exploration side of things. The view here, we're looking at Upper Antino, and I just won't get too into the drawing, but a quick kind of snapshot of the geology and what we understand about the area. We really are looking at this large folded structure where we have this area here was Froyo originally, and this is shear zones, and these are kind of your typical orogenic gold style shear zone hosted gold mineralization. They're coming up those limbs of the fold, and then we're seeing that over here. And Donut was this target over here, which I guess similar to the Omai story we just heard is intrusion hosted, so a kind of combination of the two. But right now we're upwards of 1.9 kilometers of strike and continuing to build parallel shears out and infill that. Jumping to a plan view of that to give you maybe a bit clearer sense of what that looks like. Kind of full dimensions there. That 1.9 kilometers is the mineralized system strike length. We're 450 meters wide and just within this kind of main area. And then there's Donut over here, and we're working on this gap here right now. 450 to 500 meters deep is actually some of our most recent results. So I mentioned spending quite a bit of time on Antino drilling earlier this year. One of the big things that came out of that was adding what was effectively double in terms of mineralization to depth. We were down to about 250, 260 meters previous to our last release, and we've now taken it down there with 18 meters of 6 grams, we have 5 meters of 10.6, and 2 meters of 13, all very tightly together. So pretty happy to see that as a proof of concept that these things do have legs, and orogenic systems, they typically go very far to depth. Jumping ahead to the kind of intermediate targets from Upper Antino, Boise is one that we've now defined gold mineralization over a strike of about 2 kilometers. This is a little different in that it's primarily an intrusion-hosted target. So, we're expecting, and we see it in kind of evidence from the small-scale mining that was going on previously and no longer ongoing with our work active. And so, right there, we expect to see these kind of broad bulk tonnage type open pit from surface mineralization. What we have seen is that for sure, with things like 112 meters of 0.55, but then internal to that, we still see these high grade shears with 78 meters of 2.35, including 20 meters of 7.6. So there's a lot of opportunity for scale. I think we've demonstrated that piece, and we're going to be doing a bit of drilling this fall that focuses on really understanding the high grade component of this to put this full picture together and really understand it. Lower Antino as an intermediate target is similar. Again, intrusion hosted, so these bulk tonnage numbers, but 20 meters, 50 meters, 80 meters of a gram, and then also some big broad numbers, 240 meters of 0.3, as kind of background. And Lower Antino in particular shows excellent continuity between drill holes. We drilled 29 holes into this, hit mineralization on all of them, and so there's opportunity here with only having drilled about 30% of the historic auger anomaly to really start stepping out more aggressively and showing some scale. And this is potentially fairly low strip from surface open pit mineable mineralization. Now moving a bit out into what we'll focus on for a lot of the drilling this fall, and what's going to generate, I think, quite a lot of news flow as we branch out to all of these different targets, is the emerging target piece, or kind of piece of the puzzle here at Antino. So we're right now working on Maria Geralda. I mentioned we have a drill just starting at Parbo. We'll be getting to Da Vinci, Van Gogh. In addition to this work, we'll have, starting at the end of this month or early October, a full property-wide EM and magnetic survey, airborne survey, and we'll add on top of that property-wide auger sampling. So there's still about 50% of the property that's really never ever been touched by exploration historically in between these main targets. So we want to get that big picture view of that, and then going to have that as kind of additional pipeline, and also have it as information that helps us target around these what are very grassroots or very early stage things, even with the kind of impressive numbers that we've already been able to tag on a lot of them. So jumping first to Da Vinci in the kind of southernmost part of things, this was a really exciting target or discovery for us. It was the first time that we'd hit mineralization in sedimentary rocks alone, which really opened up the possibility or the potential of, you're not focused on one particular lithology, but you can get scale in pretty much everything that's out there. And so it's more of a structure game than just a lithology component. But 36 meters at 2, 47 of a gram, including 10 of 3. Some really excellent numbers from some early drilling there. So we're only a few holes into that. That's going to be the next target that we hit after Maria Geralda, and we're looking forward to getting back to it following some promising surface exploration results from trenching, auger sampling, and additional mapping with our team on the ground. Van Gogh we'll also get back to, and I'd say is probably my personal favorite right now. This was a target that was really just taking our understanding from Upper Antino and the structural understanding, what big picture items in terms of structural features and geology were associated with higher grade gold mineralization. And it was prospecting that found this. There's no historic work, no historic exploration, no mining. It was a prospector in a creek for that original channel sample, and then first drill hole was the 28 meters of 7. And so, yeah, we're back there this fall, looking at following up on that, and yeah, hoping to see some scale come out of these things. Maria Geralda is the one we're working on now. We have the 22 meters of 12. That was in our third hole from about 18 meters down. As I mentioned, we've extended the auger anomaly now to 1.3 kilometers, and we're into our 10th hole on that target there. So looking to get that program wrapped up and some results back and get that out to the market. Finally is Lawa, which is the furthest east and certainly the least developed area. We had some drilling into that. We only got a few holes in early last year, or early parts of this year. The work there really showed us that there's a big system. We see a lot of mineralization over those drill holes. Didn't see a lot of grade yet, but for the first 3 holes into a new target area that's almost 75 square kilometers, we're pretty encouraged. We're going to wait and get some of that geophysical information and some of this auger stuff back to really help us hone in targeting towards the end of the dry season this year for doing more work on that. So, and then a little out of sequence, but Parbo is one that we just got going. Historically, there's some excellent consistency in the channel sampling work that was done there, 49 meters of a gram. There were a few holes historically. Unfortunately, don't have the core for that or too much geologic information from that early work, but we have the grades and receiving kind of 60 gram meter product kind of thing out of those holes. We've uncovered with some of our surface work a higher grade component than I think was recognized previously, and we'll be following up on that with a drill here right away. So I think to kind of wrap things up and leave a moment or two for some questions, I mean, the big kind of pieces or catalysts this year for us is going to be drill results, and we expect to have quite a lot of news flow coming out of these exploration targets because we are testing so many things. Beyond that, we're looking to expand and grow the concessions. We have application in with the government for a substantial addition to the land package to the south and southwest that we're hoping to see move forward here in 2025. And then additionally, I think looking to consolidate things and move forward on the ownership front with our partners in country. Those are the biggest ones, but it's a pretty straightforward story overall. It's drill, 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 and yeah, we're looking forward to getting results out. Happy to take some questions.
Any questions from the floor? Yes, sir.
Thanks. I keep referring to the augering of the past. Was that you or somebody else did the augering before?
2 previous operators. So Golden Star was there in the late 90s, and then Reunion Gold actually was there 2006, 2008.
Okay. And any pork knockers, or whatever they call them in Suriname?
Yeah, that's the local term. There are some small-scale miners on site. The way that works is they're actually contract miners to our partners or the optionors. So they have a 10% gross royalty system that they pay through that. So it's quite well controlled, actually.
So all those targets that you have, small miners are on them.
Are safe from small miners? No, there's...
I got it.
Yeah.
Sure, before.
Not all of them, no. So that's one of the fantastic things about Van Gogh is because that's a brand new, complete new discovery with no mining historically whatsoever. Ones like Maria Geralda, there was a small pit from 10 or 15 years ago, so it points you in the right direction. Da Vinci was similar. It's Upper Antino that has some more substantial small-scale mining in the past, and then Boise as well. Boise is, I think, many generations, decades of small-scale mining.
So who else is active there in terms of companies? Newmont is there, you're there, and who else is there looking, talking to each other, whatever?
Yeah, Newmont and Zijin are the two big operators in country. There's a few newer small juniors doing some exploration work, but they're the two big producers.
So B2 Gold investing into you, that was just the speculative part of the what you're going to be able to achieve, or is there a standstill, or what is it?
So as part of the IRA for that, they have rights up to 9.9%. So they came in at 5% at the time. It was a competitive process, not a process formally, but there's more than one person at the table. And B2 won out, and we've been pretty happy with working with them.
Any other questions out there? Yes?
Thank you. Just your schedule to the first MRE?
Right now, so we're looking at Upper Antino and one or both of Lower Antino and Boise as being included in a future maiden resource, so a global resource. Right now, with this year's drill budget, we anticipate putting a box around Upper Antino for sure, and then working in early 2026 to start, filling that in. There's more work to be done on Lower Antino and Boise to understand that before we start setting specific timelines for getting them into a resource, but we're definitely moving in that direction. I would add to that, behind the scenes, we're doing a lot of those longer lead items. So, environmental baseline work, we're into our second year of that. Metallurgy work, we'll be doing some additional work on Upper Antino and more work on some of these emerging targets. And so just trying to move all of those sorts of things along in the background.
And the budget you have for this year?
So 60,000 meter drill budget, and we'll come in around 40 million with the exploration work.
And you're up against the French Guyana border there. Does that create any access issues or incursion from artisanal miners across the river?
No, we don't have any issues with the French Guyana border. I'm not sure I'd head immediately there to build a gold project right now, but it doesn't cause us any issues.
Any other questions?
Yeah, so the election in May, new government came in. I think still, very much friendly to the gold space. They're also the government that initially put forth update to the mining code. So we're actually looking forward or hoping to see that move forward under this new administration. And overall, excellent connections there and pretty good support all around.
If you'll show your appreciation for Colin.